results, some issues we want to share with you, with all students in the culture program. First of all, we need the trust, credibility, brand awareness, and digital marketing campaign we had made was not so successful for this kind of goals we need today. So after this, we will show you some items, but this is the first point. The activity we just made was Adivu Googles. And what we prefer now is not to continue with digital marketing, but we are going to invest in strategic figures like general practitioners. Last time we spoke about the influencer, like other markets, other kind of products, and for us it's the same. Our influencers are general practitioners, and also pharmaceutical campaigns. We will do a specific action in south of Italy, in region like Puglia and others, where there is a lack, yes. And after this, of course, we will cover other regions and also other countries, if, of course, if the results will be good. Looking at the B2B model, because till now we spoke about B2C, and as you know, we are also in B2B model. We are going to new collaboration, for example, with hospitals, pharmaceutical companies for clinical trials, and also insurance campaigns. Of course, the two business models are linked, because you can imagine if the collaboration with an important hospital will be finalized, we should have also results in B2C. So don't separate these two business models. If you want, we can show you some figures regarding our digital marketing campaign. It's in Italian, sorry for this, but you should see that the figures are so important in terms of visualization, in terms of click, but we don't keep results in terms of conversion rate. It means a lot of people are going to looking for medical solution, medical information in the web, but they find a lot of different solutions and they are very confused. So it's difficult to obtain immediately a conversion results like other e-commerce, because in this kind of process we consider Ultraspecialisti like an e-commerce.
Right.
This is the point, because we should come back and imagine other kind of marketing activities to obtain trust and credibility. So a brand awareness activities we can imagine. And starting from this, we would discuss with you and with the whole X-Culture team in order to finalize a good marketing strategy.
Right. Right.
For me, that's all. So if you want to start with the questions.
Yes, so we have a lot of questions. One quick one to clarify. So you're changing the strategy now to work more with the influencers like doctors rather than go directly to the patients via social media. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, we have explored the digital strategy, so direct contact with the patients, and we have realized that we can have this as a long-term goal, because in the meantime we have to develop a trust and experience and branding of our society. So in order to build this, we have realized that we need ambassadors.
Right.
And these ambassadors might be general practitioner or pharmacist collaboration, because when people go to the drugstore, if they have a serious illness, they usually ask an advice by buying the drug, and then the pharmacists are very, very interested in this. So in Italy, our federal organization, the pharmacists, are interested, and we are going to have the meeting with them to explore how we can collaborate.
Right.
We have also explored the interest of the general. We have also explored the general practitioners, and we have evaluated. We have performed 300 questionnaires with 300 general practitioners from central and southern Italy, and 85% of them showed a great interest in for the collaboration. So that's true. We are moving from digital strategy more to the strategy where we will use the ambassadors.
Makes perfect sense. Yes, absolutely. So let's move on then to questions. So we have probably about 2,000 questions that have been sent to me by email, but we also have several dozen participants here, and I see one of them already raised his hand. So the students, if you would like to ask a question, raise your hand. You have a button at the bottom of the screen that literally looks like raise hand, and so this way we will see you and give you a chance to talk. And let me go one to one. So I see there are several people already asking to ask the question. So I'm going to promote you to panelists, and you will join us here. So this way we will see you and we'll be able to hear your questions. So I'm adding you as you raise your hands. So just unmute your microphone and go ahead with your questions, please. So I think Irina was the first one. So Irina, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a question regarding the pricing strategy. So right now, as far as we know, you're charging 240 euros per consultation. What is included in this price? Like, what kind of service do you exactly provide?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you, Irina.
With the 240 euros, we include the medical consultation, so the medical advice, so we pay doctors with that, and also the using of the platform and the customer service, which is not only a customer service, it is a case management service, because case management service is supporting the patients or caregivers not only to go through the platform, but also to identify the documents they need to send, or help them to answer any question during the processing of demanding of the consultation. Moreover, 240 euros covers also the preparatory part of the demand. So that means that if the patient or caregiver are asking for a consultation, but the documentation is not completed, doctor will ask for the additional exams, and then only after receiving the documentation, complete documentation, they're going to give the advice. That means that if a patient has to perform CT scan, he is not going to pay twice, before CT scan and after CT scan. Patients is going to pay when all documentations are ready for the consultation. Moreover, after the consultation, after the patient receives the consultation, patient can ask the clarification or some questions, and doctor is going to replay, and this will occur in the next 7 days after the patient receive the consultation. So it's covering the whole process from preparing of the documentation, sending documentation, evaluation of the documentation, the clinical answer, and then the post period of after for the 7 days.
Okay, thank you so much. So I've added here a few more people. So Justin, Raj, Mohammed, Javed. So if you have your questions, unmute your microphones and go ahead with those questions. Justin, Raj, would you like to go the next? Yeah, please go ahead. Justin Raj, by the way, is not only in India, he's one of our, we call them ex-culture kids. So for the first time this semester, we have a group of 100 younger participants who are not university students. So that's in addition to the 5,000 students, we have 99 children. And Justin is, you're 12, if I remember correctly, right? So go ahead with your question, please, Justin. And it seems like we just lost him. Hello, hello?
Hello.
Yes, Justin Raj, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Hello.
All right. Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes. So it seems.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you, please.
Okay. So, sir, trying to have a Skype meeting, but none of the participant is stable in the time. First, one of the I've sent an invite on the Skype to a participant, to a person member, but he has not attended Skype in the last 1 month. I've even written it on the email, and he's actively working on the email, and he's not replying.
Justin Raj, is this question for me or that's for the company Ultraspecialisti? Because it seems like it's a question more for me what to do about your team, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's put those questions on hold because we have busy executives here from Italy. So let's focus now on the questions specifically for the company, and then we'll have a little time at the end when we will talk more about the teams. Would that be okay?
Okay.
Let's do it that way. So those of you who have questions for the company specifically, now is a good time to go. And so let me actually go through some of the questions that you put in the questions. For example, Javed is asking, in how many countries do you already offer your services? In how many countries do you already work? So that's the question for Ultraspecialisti. So how many countries already participate in your or use your services?
So how many countries we have already involved?
Right.
So we, okay. So we are operating in Italy. We are receiving requests from the other countries, but we have to develop our activities in other countries. So we think that first countries that may be involved are Eastern Europe's, European countries, in order for a possibility of to the patients to receive the consultations, while for the northern part of Europe, we are more interested to include medical doctors in the process.
Right. Yeah. Thank you so much.
This is for the Europe, but obviously we are surely very interested in Middle East and China and Russia, but they are also might be of interest also United States because of the price competition. This might be interesting also.
Yeah. Thank you.
But we have to. We have to evaluate the privacy policy and legal issue while when we are moving to the extra European countries. This is one of the important issues.
Makes sense.
We have to evaluate. We have to work on that.
Right, it makes perfect sense, yes. We also see, I see there are questions from Ana Maria Gomez. And Ana Maria, I see that you send me the questions by email. So if you would like to ask them live, just raise your hand. I will add you to the panel. But let me read your first question. So Ana Maria is asking, how big is Ultraspecialisti? How many people work for your company?
Please, can you repeat how many people?
Yes, how big is your company? How many people work for your company?
I work for the company. So there are 5 on permanent basis, and then different consultants that work with us in a special strategical projects.
Makes sense. Thank you. So there is another. Yes, go ahead.
We are weak in market.
There is a very interesting question, if you can hear me, from William Nansling. He is in Florida, team 437. His question reads like this. He says, I have a grandfather who is 67 years old, and he could be a great customer for your company. But the problem is he's not very good with computers. What can we do to inform him about your services, and can he use your services without using a computer? It's a difficult question. Could you hear me?
So
the sound
that may use, but it's not. The grandmother has not a computer.
Yes. So he says that older people will be interested in your services, but they are not very good at using computers. And so, is it still possible to serve them without them having to be proficient?
We have realized that in these cases, the elderly people usually are supported by the younger caregivers. In fact, caregivers are at age of between 20 and 30. So those who are supporting the patients are usually very younger, and more. Yes. Moreover, during the validation process, 50% of our patients have been supported by a caregiver. We think that also that is the reason why pharmacists might be also our great goal for those patients that don't have the opportunity to be supported by the caregiver, by the younger caregiver.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. There is a question from Quiyu Gao, apparently here in the United States. How do you deal with data protection? Is data privacy a concern for you?
No, it's not, because we have involved from the beginning in a legal office, and everything we do on our digital platform and all our processes are validated by our legal supporter.
Okay. Several students are asking. Oh, yes, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. So if there somebody wants is interested to have more question about that, they can write us an email. We will explain them what are the critical points. So we have a contract, we have a reserved area, we have to respect the normatives regarding the privacy and so on. But we have covered this very well.
Makes perfect sense. Yes.
After 40 days. After 40 days, we have cancelled data.
Oh, so you keep your data only for 40 days, right?
Hello.
40. Then we have to cancel.
Hello.
There is opportunity also to discuss but this is another project, how to create big data from our activity. This will be Ultraspecialisti 2.0.
Right. Another question. So what is the biggest challenge that you face now? What are your hardest unsurmountable challenges at this time?
The hardest challenge is how to build the trust, how to communicate this solution, and how to go quickly in other countries.
Right, right. Several students are asking about your marketing budget. Do you have a specific number in mind, or does it depend on the revenue in a particular country? And then I don't know if you're at liberty to disclose how much you spend on marketing, but can you give at least some indication as to what kind of marketing budget you can work with?
So we have recently engaged an agency in order to involve in a whole program of marketing communication activities, which means from the branding strategy until communication often online. And I asked Antonio what was the price for that, and it is 50,000 euros, more or less. This is how it was planned. Yes, for this is exactly, it's reasonable.
That is very reasonable, actually. Yes, that's a very reasonable budget. Yeah. There is a very interesting question from Tiano Zhao, and he or she, I'm not sure, I don't know. So the question is it necessary to obtain certification in all markets to operate there with your services? So how does it work? Do you need to be licensed to operate, or is it easier? Do you have much information about it?
I'm sorry, I have not heard the question.
Do you know, when you move to a new market, is it normally required that you obtain a local license or certification to operate, or because you're online, you don't need to do that? Like when you go to a different country, do you need to get some special local license to operate?
Yes. Regarding the certification, we have a part of our platform has a device inside and it is a certified device, as medical device.
So then, for example, if you wanted to operate in a new country, is it a difficult process for you? Do you have to go through like some sort of a review first, or you just use your certificate from Italy and then basically operate? How does it work?
It would be very interesting for us to explore country by country, especially out of Europe, because usually in Europe already is quite normalized between the countries, but out of Europe might be really of interest. In fact, there is in some countries lack of normatives about that. So this might be the issue. How to perform the consultations in that countries where there is a lack of indications from the governmental.
So it can be different in different countries, right?
Yeah. In fact, because in some countries it is different between the countries, so it might be of great interest for us to explore these differences.
Yeah. There is a very interesting question from Beverly Jeremiah. So she is asking, who are your main competitors in Italy competition? And then if you have information on what kind of market share they have, and if you can disclose what kind of market share you own at this time.
Ce l'hai qua la cosa delle competitions? Okay, we have performed an detailed analysis of our competitors and the differences. So in fact, there is no homogeneous procedures regarding the medical consultations. The majority of the platforms that are existing platforms are just booking the visit, physical visit with the doctors. In a very limited cases, they are performing also some general indications about they are not really specific consultations. They are just generic indications about the disease. In very few cases, 2 or 3 of them, they are trying to do the same things we are doing, but they are more or less operating in a general medicine, not in a ultra specialized area. So they are not facing experts. They are mainly facing general medicine.
Right.
There are also hospitals. In fact, we have here main competitors are performing booking medical visit websites, health-related websites and forums, chats, blogs. The 19% of them offer some multidisciplinary consultations, which 81% doesn't, which is our strength. 70% of them doesn't have any medical history questionnaire. We have 70% doesn't have a safe platform. When we are talking about the safe platform, we talk about normatives. Then servicing, including Ultraspecialisti, that offer the possibility to upload and send CT scans. So very, very few, 2 of them. It's really very few. 70% of the competitors doesn't show the CVs of their medical doctors. And also we are the only server that has experts inside of the platform, so very highly specialized doctors. In fact, I think the point is that is not the problem is not if there are competitors. The problem is that there are no competitors. So the problem is that market is undeveloped.
Yeah, it is a very new type of service. That's true.
In this area, when we speak about competitors and then marketing strategy, digital marketing we just made show us that it's difficult now to explain to our target the differences between Ultraspecialisti and the other web solution. In Italy, of course, because now we started in our country.
Right.
That's the reason we should move through other marketing strategy.
Yeah, yeah, makes perfect sense.
Web, you know, but they thought that web is free of charge.
Yeah.
And also found free of charge solution, but this solution are so different comparing with us.
The free solution are not offering the consultation, really consultation, are generic advices, and very frequently these advices are very generic and not very generic.
Right. Yeah. We have many questions that come via text, but also many people are raising hands. So Alicia, Anna Maria, Javaid, Wilbert, if you would like to ask your questions, just unmute your microphone. You are here with us, so we will be able to hear you. And meanwhile, let me go through the questions further down the list that I received in text. So there is a question, for example, from Stefano Elia, who says that one of the students is asking, does the Italian government support you? And if so, how? So do you get any support from the Italian government? Do you get any governmental support?
Oh, yeah. If Italian government supports that, so Italian government is trying to support hospitals mainly in this strategy. So what we are offering is the sovrastructural solution. And this is also a reason why we want to go very quickly in other countries, because we want to create a sovrastructural e-health solutions, which are not at national level, but are at international level. So any group, anybody interested in going with us in this direction, like me, that's mean to create a strategy how to involve doctors from other countries, include creating the strategy how to reach the patients and offer the patient the solution. So any strategy that is trying that will help us to move quickly in a sovrastructural creation of sovrastructural solutions are welcome.
Right, makes sense. There is a very interesting question from Koyu Gao. Is language a problem? Do you struggle with the language barriers?
Is the language a problem?
Yes.
At this step, it is not, because we are facing very few international patients. Obviously, the language is not going to be a problem. We can easily make an agreement with the specific agencies to translate the documentations. Until now, the patients were translated their documentation in English, and we have answered in English.
Right, makes sense. So again, I see a bunch of students are asking to be able to ask a question. So we have Alicia, Anna Maria, Javaid, you're here. So if you would like to ask a question, just unmute your microphone and join the discussion. And
Hi.
Javaid, yeah, please go ahead, Javaid.
Hi.
Yes, go ahead. Oh, Anna Maria, is that you? Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes. I am Anna Maria, and nice to meet you. I want to ask for some questions to you to develop our report. What are your potential sales and annual revenues or profits globally and specifically in Sweden?
Global profits.
Anna Maria,
is the question,
And revenues of Ultraspecialisti.
So Anna Maria is asking about your revenue at this time. And again, I'm not sure if you can answer those questions because I suppose this is probably confidential information. And then she's also asking about your operations in Sweden. Do you operate in Sweden? And if so, what is your, again, revenue there? Again, I'm not sure if it's information that you're not allowed to provide. That's perfectly fine too.
So, it's we make exponentially growth. That means that if we, at the beginning, the profit is linked, it's obviously be a link to the number of the consultations that might be based on B2C or B2B. So if you are talking about the, for example, European Union, we know that they are only in oncology and in chronic disorders, there are 60 million of ill people, seriously ill people. So obviously, this is if you talk about the serious illness. But if we enlarge this, we can rapidly go over that and reach also about 80 million of people that may use these solutions. So obviously, if we go in a larger number, we will decrease the percentage of the profit we have, because now it's not sustainable to reduce the price of the consultation from the Ultraspecialisti side. So we have a high contribution for the service and for the platform. But if we increase the numbers, we can lower our part, and that might be of interest because we can easily lower global price and go also over the Europe. So that's why it's very important to go quickly in Europe in order to lower the price and to go out of the Europe, going to the east. While going to the west, the problem is not the price, but the problem are legal issues. So the Antonio, we can say about
And Javaid, I see you're trying to ask a question. Let's give it a minute to finish this one, and then you will be next. So get ready.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that. Don't worry.
Yeah, just a second.
Okay, the point is we are trying to find the specific slide about that. I can tell you that if we cover, so you can imagine if we cover 5,000 consultations, that's mean 500,000 euros.
Right.
Okay, and this is absolutely nothing with respect with the potential growth of this market. The point is not that. It's not how we can grow. We can rapidly grow if we learn how to communicate this. If we learn and if we find the way to communicate this solution and educate the people that this may be used, because this is not used. Usually, the people are not using this at the moment. So our specific problem now is how to communicate that this is possible. And not only that this is possible, that this is really useful qualitatively for the patients because they may obtain qualitatively better consultation and they can save money. So they have to learn something that is not yet routinely on routinely basis. I remember when we have started using the telephones, we were not immediately, I was a student at the time, so we were not used to use cell phone. Now I'm not able to live without cell phone.
As everybody
it's
else.
A process. Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, and all this computer, I remember when my mother bought me a computer, I was, I don't know, 6, 7 years old. And I didn't imagine that now I will be unable to live without that. So you can imagine this process when we apply this in health. We have a lot of skeptics. So first of all, we have to change this because everybody are talking about the telecommunication, about the telemedicine, but we are not applying all these possibilities. So we can rapidly grow if we find a way how to show proof of principle in everyday life to the huge number of the patients. That's the reason why we think that we need ambassadors. We need general practitioner, we need pharmacists in order to let this solution become routinely applied. So if we are talking about, 5,000 consultation per year means 500, 500 consultation per month is absolutely nothing in front of the need. And if we grow the numbers, you will easily find the revenues.
The estimated value, that's true.
Of course, we have to consider different pathological area. Of course, we start with the cancer, and then we are just going to implement new areas. In 2018, we should reach 6 new areas.
And what are those areas? Several students are asking if you are thinking about cardiology and other areas. So you said 6 new areas. Which ones are you interested in? You said that you're moving into new areas beyond oncology. So what would be the areas? We have a few students who ask about that.
Yes. So we are going to increase the new areas. So first of all, we started with oncology. Now we are opening general surgery, internal medicine, ophthalmology, and dermatology, and then we will continue. For every area, we are opening new market.
Right.
Then, so we can grow in different medical areas. We can grow in in different countries. In fact, now I have seen the question from that colleague, that student from regarding to Sweden. In fact, we are not selling in Sweden. So if you are interested, we can open. So we
can help. Yes, please. Yeah.
So we have to grow in number of the medical doctors. We can grow in number of medical areas, and we can grow in countries, in different countries.
Right.
Last but not least, the B2B channel, you know, because these figures are more easier to reach through a partnership with the hospital, for example, or other kind of partnership with the insurance companies. Of course, the B2B could be so huge in terms of business development. And this because we don't want to exclude this kind of opportunity.
Right. Okay.
In our mind, the B2C is so important, but in terms of business, we have to not we have to continue to maintain this relation and to go on in business development.
Okay, Javed, you had a question, so if you would like to switch on your video and audio and go ahead with your question, now is a good time.
Yeah, did you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, yes.
Yeah, all right. My question is, if you are entering into the new market, especially in the Middle East or Asian markets, do you have any specific budget that you are ready to spend on the marketing?
So when you're moving into a new market, do you have a specific budget that you're willing to spend on marketing, or how would it work?
The marketing budget is 50,000 euro.
So about 50,000.
50,000.
No, 50,000 euros is the budget that you are spending right now in Italy for the marketing, right?
For marketing in Italy, so for the Italian region.
Yeah, that's right.
Just
I'm asking if you are going to enter in any other country rather than Italy. Just for example, you are going to enter in Pakistan. So do you have any specific budget that you are ready to spend for marketing in Pakistan?
so if we are ready to spend more in marketing
In a new country, when you go to a new country, what would be your initial budget?
Yeah, that's right.
In our mind, I just spoke about this with Italian students. We are a startup, so for us, the investor area is so important, and we are just discuss with some investors, potential investors. So the strategy is to have the best marketing strategy and the best budget to propose in front of potential investors.
Right.
Like every kind of startup in the world, maybe you can confirm me. So
yes,
we are looking for investors, and when I have the possibility to have a meeting, important meeting with kind of investors in Italy, but also in other countries, I have to show the solution and to show him how I would spend the money.
Right. It is very important to remember that, again, it's a small startup, and so some of the projects that I see, students would recommend big, ambitious marketing campaigns, and it's not always feasible to spend so much money when you are a small company. So the best ideas when it comes to marketing would be the ones that allow you to reach the target population, the segment, with the minimum cost. So if you can come up with a marketing strategy that is not expensive, but at the same time is effective, that's what the companies are normally interested in. So it's not Coca-Cola, it's not Microsoft that they can spend millions of dollars on marketing. So it's very important to stay frugal and spend as little as possible while getting still some good results. It's a startup, right?
Yes, it's a test for us, and also we other startups, other projects, for example, needs money for technology. For platform is not our case. We need money for marketing now and to business development. You know.
Yeah.
Until now, we have invested in platform solution and validation of the platform. So we were investing in the product. Then we have performed some tests, marketing tests with digital awareness, and we have realized this is not the right direction. And this is very important for the investors. In fact, because when you have identified a negative area, or when you have identified what you don't have to do, this is very important when you are going to ask the money, because the investor I'm talking to the students, obviously, not to the professors, because they know it very well. But when you invest, when you talk with investors, they want to know what you have already tested and what get wrong, because they know that you at least the next time probably you have much more probability of success, because you have already a direction where to go.
Yeah.
We think that some results of this project, X Culture project, could be used in the future for investor meetings.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, so yes, finding investors would be one of the ways that our students can help. So if you have any connections, or if you think you have a strategy for a startup, it would be a good idea. And so we've had in the past cases when students were able to bring investors to the companies. So that would be something that hopefully at least some of them will be able to help with. Yes. Okay, so I see there are a few more people who are raising their hands, so don't be shy, unmute your microphones and go ahead and ask. Meanwhile, I have a very interesting question from Ana Maria Gomez Ramirez. She is asking, what is your company cost structure? So basically, yes, cost structure. So what do you have to pay for in order to deliver your services?
The fixed cost for now are the platform cost for maintain the server, the cost of new function implementation are around 15,000-20,000 euro per year, and share cost you can imagine around 50,000-60,000 per year. Also, we have a legal cost for consultation, but 6,000 more.
Thank you. And I see, Javed, you would like to ask another question? I see you unmuted your microphone.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. Can you
go
please
ahead.
repeat the
go
cost?
ahead.
I missed that.
Yes, please go ahead, Javed.
Can you please repeat that cost? I missed that to note down.
Javed, I cannot hear you. Can you say it again, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. We have some noise, so it's hard to make out the words.
Yeah, there is an internet connection problem over here. Sorry for that. Can you please repeat the cost structure? I missed that.
So it seems like most of the cost comes from basically online maintenance, so server and web support. So that's, as I understood, that's your main expense. Is that correct? And I assume advertisement. So what are your main costs?
The question is, what is the cost of maintenance?
No, not how much, but when you look at all your expenses, what are your biggest expense categories? So what are the areas that cost you most, maybe without the specific numbers, but percentage-wise?
Okay, until now it was the product development. So all the people had a very reduced cost because everybody was investing in this activity. Now we cannot anymore stay in this solution in this situation. We have to pay the salaries of the people who are working, and moreover, especially what we need now is to develop a marketing area and communication area, because we are covering the sales and the scientific part and technological part very well, but we need now investment in marketing. So probably the most costly part of the society will be the cost of the HR.
HR, yeah, labor costs, yeah, I can imagine payroll. There is a very interesting question from Tiano Zhao. The question is, what kind of institutions do you prefer to work with? General hospitals, medical centers, pharmacy companies, or customers directly?
So who are our customers? So
your preferred customers, who would you prefer to work with?
Perfect. So our preferred customers are patients directly, but we cannot reach them in a very brief period. So we have to have this as a medium long-term goal because of educational and cultural process that will take years and trust. So now for us it's very important to engage hospitals and to engage the general practitioners and pharmacists or other partners that might be our ambassadors that may support us in creating trust with the patients.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. There is another question from Alicia, and she's asking, do you at this time connect only Italian doctors with your customers, or can you connect doctors and customers in a different country? Like, for example, if there is a customer, a patient in Germany and a doctor in Germany, can you help them as well?
We
service in that?
To accelerate the process of involving other doctors from other countries. We really want to crash any barrier between the patients and the doctors. This is our mission. So, fortunately, we have to face different steps. But obviously, if we would have a lot of money and a lot of people to work with us, we will be very happy to go immediately and increase the number of doctors from any country, and in order to reach and give the possibility to more patients, different patients. This will be.
Makes sense, yes.
Strategy to reach the doctors in all and to find them the interest in our activity. These are also of our great interest.
Makes sense, yes. Okay. Here is a question from Ana Maria Gomez. So how many patients do you serve per year at this time? And I understand the number is probably always changing, but can you give us some numbers?
We are able to, with actual potential of the platform, we are able to cover 4,000 consultations per day.
Wow!
So
that's
we are
a big
really,
number.
we are not covering at all our possibilities. So we really have to. So we don't have any trouble with technological part now. We are in a very safe position with that. So if you go and sell our product in one country, you can do it.
Right.
We
and
will easily translate
exactly
in any language.
The students, yes. I strongly encourage the students to actually try to sell the product, because you can have all kinds of ideas for strategy, how it might work, but until you actually try to talk to the customers, you would not know. So try to see how the customers respond. It would be a good experience and will give you a very good idea as to whether or not this product has a future in your country. I see we have more questions here. So Wilbert is asking, customer care is very important. Is your company working 24 hours a day? Yeah, I think he's asking about, yes, is it a 24-hour service, or only you operate during certain hours? I hope I understood your question correctly, Wilbert.
At the moment we are not at our full capacity, so we really can cover but obviously if we increase the numbers, as the revenue is so huge, we can easily increase the number of the people working in the customer service. It's there is not a problem. The process is already there, so it's easy. It's very easy to also be part of the customer service, because you have medical doctors who support people working in the customer service for the medical questions. While from the digital problem, we have a digital team of our partner who are supporting customer service. So in fact, it's very easy to grow for us if we have money or if we have requests, because it's not complex. Absolutely not complex for our company to grow.
Wilbert, I see you raise your hand again, so I allowed you to talk. If you would like to ask a question, you should be able to do it live. Meanwhile, I do have a question about pricing. Are you open to changing your price, especially when you go into a new country where people may not be able to afford a higher price?
So the question is if we can hire
if
the price,
you're
or
willing
we can
to change your price, adjust it up or down if the new market requires.
Absolutely. If we increase the numbers, we can lower the part of the price which is dedicated to Ultraspecialisti. What is more difficult to modify is the price for the medical doctors.
Right.
But I think that we can can modify or change the policy, because if we guarantee medical doctors that at that time, in that period, they will have X number of the patients, then we can make an agreement not them to be paid not for the consultation, but for the activity. And this may lower the price. So if I guarantee a medical doctor that he has to perform 100 consultations, that means that he will be paid on a fixed price. Probably we can also lower the part of the price dedicated to the medical doctors, but we have to be sure that we can then sustain this.
Right, right. Several students asked the question that is not related specifically to your company, but they're interested in it. They ask if they wanted to start their own business, what advice would you give them so that they get ready before they graduate to start their own company? So I'm not sure if you can answer that, but it seems like many of them would like to start their own businesses. Do you have any advice for them? As managers of a startup? So most of our students are business students, and many of them would like to have their own company. And so they're asking for your advice, for your tips on what they should do to get ready to start their own business. Essentially, if you had to do it again, perhaps what would you do differently to get ready for this big challenge?
So I think that probably what is so you cannot be out of the process. So there is a great opportunity to work with the incubator and accelerator,
right?
And this may help you because you can test first of all, and you can use the right methodology. The right methodology is to perform a test. Everything you are doing is a test. Even if you are on the market, is a test. So startup is a way of thinking, way of proceeding. It's you can be a startup for all your life of your company. So I think that first of all you have to see if you have an idea, you have to see if others, that mean focus groups, are thinking that your idea is really interesting and useful. Then the other issue is that idea should be sustainable. That means that the win process is better. So you have to find the way that different partners in your process and your activity may earn something. That doesn't mean only money, but earn something. And then be open-minded, talk about your activity. Don't think that somebody can brought your idea away.
Right.
But talk and then other thing is that probably you have to imagine that you will not earn money immediately. So
That's true.
Have really work hard for several years and strongly believe that what you are doing is really right thing by testing day by day.
Right. How old is your company? When was it founded? How many years have you been in the market?
We have idea has been developed in July 2015. Then we went on incubator, make a cube Avanzi, and we have performed the 6 months of activity. Then we had then we have performed focus groups with the patients and doctors. We have identified which might be the solution. Then we have evaluated which are these solutions and who are the partners. When we have identified the partners, we have evaluated how much we have to invest, and then we have opened the company in January 2016. And then in 2016, all the year we were working on developing the platform. And in 2017, we were validating the platform, and also we were creating our medical community. So 2 years after, the majority of the startups die after 2 years.
Yes.
So now we are.
So you're past the death valley. Yeah. How many founders does your company have? How many people founded the company?
On Facebook.
No. How many founders? How many people are the company owners, founders?
So the founders are 2, but the one person who are working with us, we gave a part of our company. It's work for equity. Foundership, but
right. And another question: your funding so far? Did you get some venture capital, or who is funding the company, or is it the founders' money?
It was a founder's money. And then we have found some donations, but the majority of the money was our own. And also, we have made a credit with the bank.
A loan, yeah. And another question somebody is asking, so Samoei is asking, what is your exit strategy? Are you planning to develop the company and sell it, or go public, or are you planning to stay in it for many years?
We really believe in this mission, so we don't want to sell the company, and our idea is really to realize what we want. So our mission is to break the barriers and to create e-health supranational structure.
Right.
And so this is the goal. So we are trying to find the investors, but we also want to find those investors who really believe in this idea and strategy, and we try to avoid those who just want to invest to earn money. So
right.
This is difficult, but it's very important. It's also a part of strategy.
Right.
Because
it's not so much about making money, but it's about changing the industry.
Exactly. This I understand that somebody who has not started with that don't understand this.
Right.
But we have realized somebody may come and give you a lot of money, but you will not be able to decide anything, and the game is over.
Right. Exactly. I did not realize that we are way past our time, so we planned to finish by 1, and it's already 1:15, 17 my time. So I think we're going to stop here, but if you have any questions, students, those who are watching live or will be watching the recording, you can always email us the questions, and we will forward them to the company. And so this way your questions will still be answered just by email. And so for the company, so we still have 3 more weeks to go. So hopefully we will have the reports ready for you in the early May. So the deadline is the last day of April, and then it will take us probably a few days to get everything ready. But we hope to have the reports ready for you in the first week of May, and we'll see. I hope that there will be many good ideas there. And I encourage the students very much to try to actually get the clients, because the ideas are great, but until you actually try to talk to potential customers, it's very, very hard to make predictions about the success of your ideas. So, all right, well, thank you so much. Truly appreciate your time. I know it's a late hour in Italy at this time, so thank you for taking the time with us. And so we will be in touch by email now, and then we'll have the reports ready for you in about 3 weeks.
Thank you. It's a great opportunity for us. We are really happy honored to work with you, and we are curious to see what are going to be your ideas, opinions, and who knows,
right.
maybe we can become a partner.
Yes, hopefully so. Well, thank you, everyone, and yeah, let's stay in touch and see how it goes. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.